In the early 1980s, the internet was a raw, text-based frontier, primarily built around bulletin board systems like Usenet. These early network users used their connections to negotiate social hierarchies and codify the unwritten rules of their emerging subculture. That search for identity occasionally sparked intense arguments. The catalyst for our story is a fiery Usenet debate triggered by an article defending the macho side of programming. Users quickly chose sides, battling over a very specific definition. What made someone a real programmer? Was it the specific code they wrote, or the raw attitude they brought to the machine? The argument went far beyond keystrokes and syntax. For these early internet pioneers, this was a search for a defining ethos in a digital world they were building from scratch. On May 21, 1983, a user logging in under the handle uAstroNather, a programmer named Ed Nather, entered the fray. People expected either a dense technical teardown or an angry rebuttal. Instead, Nather completely defied those expectations. He bypassed the argument entirely. He dropped a pure, character-driven narrative. He posted a piece titled simply, "The Story of Mel, a Real Programmer." By introducing a creative story into a technical debate, Nather shifted the framework of the discussion, providing a narrative lens for hacker identity where there had previously only been disputes over technical specs. The Usenet community immediately recognized that the story of Mel was profound. Using only a few spare images, Nather captured the specific aesthetics of hacking that had proved difficult for others to describe. Rather than relying on dry, mathematical recountings of subroutines, this approach focused on the internal psychology of the programmer at work. Readers elevated the text instantly, cementing its reputation as, in their own words, one of hackerdom's great heroic epics. By focusing on the programmer's internal logic and temperament, Nather demonstrated that code was a reflection of the individual's mind rather than just a mathematical output. Around this time, outsiders were trying to pin down this emerging culture. Researchers and academics were churning out dense, heavy volumes, attempting to categorize the hacker mindset. This diagram shows the contrast. If you weigh the sheer mass of those physical academic texts against Nather's single, spare digital narrative, the result is lopsided. The overwhelming community consensus was that this lone post captured more truth than all those scholarly volumes put together. This consensus turned the text into a permanent fixture of Usenet history, archived and cited by the community for decades. Ultimately, digital communities validate their own myths. They reject outside academic interpretation in favor of the stories they tell about themselves. Let's fast forward 9 years to a postscript Ed Nather wrote in 1992 to address the growing legacy of his creation. For almost a decade, readers had been studying and worshiping the specific free verse format of the text. But Nather revealed a twist. He never wrote an epic poem, and the famous free verse format didn't even exist in his original post. The reality was mundane. His original 1983 submission was written as straight, non-justified prose. Nather had typed out standard paragraphs, yet the community had built an entire poetic myth around the text's structure. This shift from prose to poetry reveals how digital lore can evolve independently of its author, gaining new meanings through the community's own interpretations. Which leaves us with a lingering mystery. If Nather didn't write a poem, how did the entire internet come to read it as one? The answer lies in early internet distribution. The story bounced from node to node across primitive infrastructure. As it traveled, programmers actively modified it, gradually reformatting straight prose into the iconic free verse. The audience took ownership. They actively hacked the document itself. Looking back in his 1992 postscript, Nather noted that this unauthorized modification by the community actually felt deeply appropriate to him. The medium matched the message. A story celebrating the ethos of hackers had been organically hacked by its own audience, transforming a simple prose post into a living